It wasn't pretty, but we'll take it. Boston Celtics beat the Houston Rockets. Thank you, Kristaps Porzingis. How they exploited that matchup to get this win and why the Celtics need to answer their own challenge, the gauntlet they dropped. It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there. Welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every day, Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast, whichever device, whichever app. You can watch the show on YouTube. Hop into the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm John Karalis. If you don't know me, I used to play. Now I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. And for you, because you're the consumer, you're consuming all this stuff. This is all for you. So thank you. Today, we're talking about the Boston Celtics barely, kind of barely beating the Houston Rockets. They look like they were on their way to an easy win. They could have gotten an easy win, but instead, if you look at my first bullet point on YouTube, it's an ugly win. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. So this was ugly. This was not a pretty win. The Celtics came out neither team could hit a shot. Then Kristaps Porzingis got going. Derrick White got going in the second quarter, and it looked like that combination was going to carry them to a nice, easy win. They were up 5, I think, after one, no, or 10. They were up 10 after one, and then they added 5 to that in the second quarter. So Porzingis had 15 points in the first. It was pretty clear that he had it going, and then the Rockets got going against the Boston bench. That second unit. Now, no Drew Holiday, no Al Horford. So Joe went to other kind of combinations, and Houston took advantage. They looked like they were getting a lot of points running and creating these cross matches and starting to hit some shots. Then Derrick White came in at the middle part of the second quarter and dominated. He was awesome. There was another just an incredible stretch for Derrick White, really bolstering his all-star candidacy. And then it felt like at halftime, Celtics were like, cool, 15 points, cruise control. They came out in the second half. They came out in that third quarter, and it felt like they did the bare minimum for most of the second half. The Rockets got it close. The Celtics would make a little bit of a push, kind of get it back up, 8, 9, 10. Rockets got it close again. Celtics made another push, and they won the game. So not the prettiest second half at all. And this is where the gauntlet that I mentioned at the top, this is where this comes in, because Jaylen Brown especially has been saying this is the time of the year. This stretch of, at this point, I think it's like 12. What do they got? I know they have a 7-game home stretch, so maybe they're up to 9. Maybe there's 9 games left before. No, there's a few more road games after that. So anyway, my point is this little stretch. I love thinking things through on a podcast. I'm sure that's always a lot of fun. There's this stretch here that Jaylen keeps talking about where he says we have to be better. We have to get through this stretch of the schedule where teams generally kind of let down. And this was honestly the first game this season where I felt like this was a reminiscent of last year kind of performance. I don't think they've had a lot of games that look like last year. And this second half was pretty bad. Look, they won this game, and I'm not going to complain. You shouldn't have to apologize for wins, but it was still a very ugly second half. The let's see, they lost the second half by 6. Houston got 7 more shots, 2 more offensive rebounds, 2 more free throws, 14 more points in the paint, 6 more second chance points, 2 more fast break points. All of the margins that Joe Mazzulla loves to talk about, all of those margins were lost in the second half. The Celtics were outplayed in the second half. And it's because they came out and kind of sleptwalked through the whole thing. It took a little stretch by Kristaps Porzingis in the fourth quarter to really kind of get them back on track. The Rockets had cut this thing down to 3, and that's when Porzingis started to assert himself a little bit. The Celtics went on was 14-6 run in that fourth quarter that kind of got enough separation where they were able to kind of hold off the Rockets. It felt like, and you heard Scal talking about this on the broadcast, felt like they came out of halftime and they said, "We're good. We got the Mavericks tomorrow. We're going to win this game. So we're just going to chill and we'll figure out a way to win this, but we're not going to put in maximum effort because we got this game tomorrow and that's going to be a big game and whatever." So it felt like they were trying to find this line of what's the bare minimum, what's the least we can do and still pull this game out. And that's it's good that they won, but it's bad that they are back to trying to find that line. To me, that's something that they did last year a lot. And this kind of exploration of trying to find this line of how far can we go without it biting us in the ass, that's something that's going to bite you in the ass, because you got to cross the line to find out where it is, right? You got to figure out what's the step too far so you can be like, oh no, okay, this is the line, right? You can't figure out where the line is. It's hard to do without going like, oh no, that was too much. Let's just go back here this way. So you don't want to get to that's too much with this team this year. You don't want to, because that's when you get to that's too much in basketball, that means you've lost the game. So Jaylen has laid down a gauntlet, basically challenging his team. This is the stretch of the schedule we need to kind of navigate. We need to get through. We need to focus. This is where getting through this type of the schedule, this part of the schedule, is going to be what helps us get through the playoffs. And he's right. You've got to be mentally tough to get through that. This was the game where it's like the first time, more so than the Memphis game, more so than the Charlotte game, more so like than any other performance. This was the one where I was like, okay, they're not themselves. This was not a 2024 Celtics team. This was the team that was kind of infuriating last season. So they can't do that. I hope they understand that they got away with it. They got away with it because Porzingis is the incredible mismatch, and both he and Derrick White are this engine that drives the Celtics. More like Jaylen, obviously, Jayson, obviously, they're your 2 best players. But man, Derrick White, Kristaps Porzingis are just critical. The Celtics were able to exploit the Porzingis matchup. Porzingis really won them this game with a nice assist from Derrick White. I'll talk about how they exploited the matchup there in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn and LinkedIn Jobs. At the start of this new year, Every small business owner is asking themselves the same question. What's the one move that I can make that'll take my business to the next level in 2024? It's kind of like a Brad Stevens type of question. What's the one move? Well, he doesn't have LinkedIn Jobs. You do, because they know success all depends on the team you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Don't just go through the stacks. I remember trying to hire people back in a past life where it's just going through resumes and going through cover letters and trying to no. Lean on a LinkedIn, because it's not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It's super easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering, like I'm delivering this line, quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. So thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out 24/7 streaming sports. Where is that? On YouTube? How about Locked On Sports Today? It's the first ever such streaming channel, or screaming, but there's not a lot of screaming on there. There's more good conversation there than anything. Locked On Sports Today, the first ever 24/7 national sports streaming channel. So go check it out. Plenty of football to talk about. There's going to be plenty of this in the NFL. The Detroit Lions, oh my God, the Kansas City Chiefs winning again. Buffalo Bills wide right again. It's all there. So go check it out. I'm not going to go crazy with all the sports stuff. That's what that's there for. Kristaps Porzingis was awesome in this game. He finished with 32 points, 5 blocks. That's incredible. 32 points, 5 blocks, 6 3-pointers. According to Dick Leip, the NBC Sports Boston stats guy, there have only been 3 games in regular season history in which a player has had at least 32 points, 6 3-pointers, and 5 blocks. Brook Lopez did it in 2017. Kristaps Porzingis did it twice, including in this game. So he's the only person to have that stat line, 32, 6, and 5. And he did it twice. So it just shows the versatility. And look, they're able to get him going. I broke it down on Boston Sports Journal. When he's got it going from 3 and you're playing a team that had no size like the Rockets did, and Alperen Sengun is a slower center. He's crafty and all of that stuff, but he's slower. And if they want to exploit this matchup on a night where Jayson Tatum, I'll talk about him in a bit, struggles, Jaylen Brown did not have the biggest scoring night. He, in fact, finished with 13 points. So, but he did have a triple-double, 13, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Kind of snuck that last assist in at the end. So, hey, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. Don't worry. But people love to get worked up about, give the guy, he doesn't get a lot of triple-doubles. They were aware of it. The Rockets kind of set that up for him because they wanted to keep on playing till the very end. That's fine. You want to keep pressing, you want to keep playing, then the Celtics are going to keep running and keep scoring. So it's not like the Rockets gave up and they got a cheap assist anyway. The Rockets were playing. The Rockets were fouling. They were playing till the last second. So Jaylen got the ball. O'Shea Brissett was running down the floor, and they gave it to him. He gave it to him, and he scored. They all knew that was going to be the 10th assist, but hey, the Rockets made that decision. And if they had given up, the Celtics would have backed it out and taken their 24-second violation. So I'm cool with how Jaylen got his triple-double. But anyway, this is about Kristaps Porzingis and his ability to get the different matchups. So they had a couple of 6'7" guys trying to guard him. Cam Whitmore, and this is just the cross matches, right? This is like Amen Thompson. These guys had chances to guard Porzingis, and Porzingis is not going to back anybody down. Like, he's not so strong that he's going to back people down. And he's so tall that he doesn't have he has a high center of gravity. It's kind of tough to get low enough to kind of dislodge guys and push them off their spots. So, but what they get with Porzingis is, first of all, it starts with the 3-pointers, and with those falling, it kind of impacts how he's defended. The Celtics were able to run a couple of plays to get him open looks, and then when you see the Rockets in drop coverage, you attack that with a pick and pop, and you get him looks that way. And when they're switching, you are able to get him into post-up situations. And it's not your typical post-up. He's, more mid-post, a little further away because of how he's playing on the perimeter, dribble handoffs, those picks and stuff. So he's not going to get guys kind of buried too deep all that often, but he works in that mid-post. He works in that space. He can dribble to a spot in the middle of the floor. He's got that big swooping kind of shot where he brings it down and brings it up. It's very like tall guy, James Harden type of thing, where he's trying to draw the fouls. The Celtics they could have gone to the line a whole lot more. They got 18 free throws. They could have gotten probably 4 or 5 more trips to the line, and maybe would have salted the game away a little bit more cleanly if that had happened. Maybe there's a little bit of frustration with some of these guys that they didn't get to the line as much. Porzingis only went 4 times. I think he got fouled a couple of times, but whatever, that's fine. Like, he still gets that shot up and off the board. So he's able to really work these mismatches, and this is why the Celtics got him. If we're taking a silver lining away, again, we're not apologizing for a win, but because of how poorly they played in the second half, it feels like, all right, we'll take it, but we don't have to like it. But Porzingis was a serious silver lining because when you have a tight matchup like that, you have opportunities. I kind of always felt like they were going to win. I never sat there and I thought, oh crap, they're going to lose this game. And they were like really rescued. Never thought that. When you have a game like that and you're like, hey, well, it's a tight game. You feel good about winning this game. Let's get these opportunities to get Porzingis these looks. This type of win is going to be something that they're going to have to pull off in the playoffs. Jaylen's going to be, off. Jayson's going to be off. Can you get it to Porzingis against a mismatch? Can you run the offense and get a cross match and find a way to get Porzingis these opportunities? Jaylen Brown does a good job because he pushes the pace. He plays fast. He gets the ball up the floor. When you push the pace and get the ball up the floor, guys have to just pick up whoever is there. And so if Amen Thompson picks up Porzingis, then you go, oh, great. They can't switch out of this right now. We've got him in this position. So let's take advantage of this and give it to this guy and let him go cook. And so those are the types of situations they're going to need to hone down the stretch, and they're able to get it. So if you want a big, huge positive out of this, aside from Derrick White being awesome and aside from Jaylen Brown having a triple-double, it's this opportunity against a team that's playing, look, it's unexpectedly tight. Some of it is your fault, but hey, the Rockets, they have pride. They've got a good coach. They've got some good young talent. And so they have, you give them some life and give them some confidence. they can make things difficult. So what happens when a game gets difficult? We can sit here and cry about, well, the game shouldn't have been difficult. You're right. It should not have been difficult. But here we are. It was, right? So segment one was, hey guys, stop making things difficult on yourselves. You don't want that. Third quarter was gross. But here we are. You can only deal with the reality. They put themselves in the situation. So here's the situation. What do you do with it? What kind of chicken salad do you make out of this? So they got Porzingis the ball. He was cooking, and they showed some of what they can do when the rest of the team doesn't quite have it, or a lot of the rest of the team doesn't quite have it. So this gave us something good. A little bit more on Derrick White, a little bit more on Jaylen Brown, and Jayson Tatum struggling. All of that coming up in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, BetterHelp is going to help you find a very convenient way to get therapy, because I know one of the biggest obstacles to therapy is the inconvenience of it all. Instead of driving around to find somebody in your area, somebody near where you work, this is all done online. So it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You go to betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. You fill out a questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you get started. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't click, you can pick somebody else. That's the beauty of what BetterHelp does. And I know that it sucks if you don't click with somebody who's in your area, because then you're like, well, who do I go to now? Well, here you go. Whatever it is, however you need to, whatever you need to work through, it really, I've benefited from therapy myself, and I think most people can as well. So give it a try at betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. You get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. If you've been thinking about it, this is the time to get started, and it's super convenient. It's super worth it. BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. Today's show also brought to you by FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. NFL regular season, done. Playoffs, almost done. We're getting into championship games. So get in on the action. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and sign up. If you're a new customer and you do that, you get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. All you got to do is place a $5 bet on anything. So Celtics play the Dallas Mavericks. Place a $5 bet on that game, whether it's the money line, whether you want to go over under on Jayson Tatum's points. Under seems to be a good bet, but who knows what tomorrow is going to bring. So go check it out. Place your $5 bet. Once you do that, you get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed, win or lose. Get into that app. Go to the Explore tab. Find bets there. You can put together some live same game parlays. You can go to the Parlay Hub and find some popular parlays that are being played right now. So go check it out. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet a layup. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL, and they've got some great tools there on FanDuel, so you can set your limits, set your parameters, set your budget, all that good stuff, so you can have some fun and you can gamble responsibly. I want to thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On NBA. Locked On NBA has got you covered. I host on Wednesdays with Jake Madison, and we're covering the whole league. So it's a good time. Check it out wherever you got this podcast. All right, let's wrap it up here. Jaylen Brown with the triple-double, seeing the floor well, making great plays for his teammates. This type of, normally a Jaylen Brown 13-point performance. Like we just saw it. We just saw it against Denver. Jaylen Brown gets 13 points. Jayson Tatum shoots 4 of 17 and has 18 points. Those types of games are losers. And the Celtics are able to pull this out partly because Jaylen is still dropping 10 assists and 11 rebounds and getting out there and doing other things. Now, he missed a couple of free throws. He still has to fix that free throw thing. He's too good a shooter to be shooting in the 70%, low 70% range from the line. That has to be fixed. But otherwise, a decent game. If he had made one more three-pointer, he would have been 7 of 14 overall from the field, 2 of 3 instead of 1 of 3 from 3. That would have been a really efficient game for him. But, hey, as it was, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and the 3 turnovers. So overall, Jaylen Brown stepped up and did a good job on a night where he wasn't the primary kind of scoring option. But Derrick White was huge. Like I said, Porzingis was huge. And, Jayson Tatum now struggling a bit, 4 of 17 in this game. He's really, I think, pounding the ball a lot. He's not as fluid. I thought he got to the rim a bunch early. It didn't work for him as well as he'd like. And then I think he abandoned it. I think he just was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not working this hard to not get any calls, because I'm sure he was frustrated. You could see him frustrated on there. There were some calls that he could have gotten for sure. But that frustration, I think he was just like, you know what? I'm not going into the paint. I'm done. So 4 of 17, 1 of 6 from 3, 18 points. He did get to the line 12 times, but he certainly is kind of struggling a little bit. It's his 11th game this season with a negative plus minus. So it doesn't happen all that often. Earlier this year, he was kind of struggling. Then January came around. We got January Tatum. And now that's kind of gone away. He's 6 of his last 28 from 3. That's about 21.5%. So I just feel like he's dribbling the ball a lot. He's isoing way too much. And this is the thing that it shows you how hard it is to play the other way, to move yourself, move the ball, make the right play. Like the other day, a couple games ago, we said we can't get bored with doing the right thing and making the right play. This kind of felt like the game where he got bored with it. And hey, if he's going to struggle, he's going to struggle. It's going to happen. But I think he got bored with making the right play. I think he got tired. And again, like I said at the beginning, you got to find a way to push through this stuff. And he has to find a way to push through this stuff, because at some point he has to get back to being the Jayson Tatum that finds his way into some level of the MVP conversation. He hasn't played like that for the past few games, the past 4 games, I'd say. So he needs to kind of figure that out. Other thoughts before I wrap things up. The Jaylen Brown off the backboard dunk attempt was ambitious, let's say. I think you saw Anthony Edwards do it. He found himself in a position where, like, oh, the I'm at the free throw line. The defender I've picked up my dribble, and somehow I faked the defender out of my way. It was, if you're going to make that play, that's kind of the situation to make it. But after the game, he said, it looked good up in my head, but my legs were toast. Like, my legs were shot, and he basically didn't have anything left. The play, he threw it up off the backboard. He went to try to go get it, and he just couldn't go get it. He said, it looked great in my head, not so much in real life. We can laugh it off a little bit now. It actually, like I said, was the right time. If you're going to try a play like that, that was the right situation to do it. But execution was poor. Shout out to Peyton Pritchard, who hit some big shots, including one right at the end of the shot clock. Turnaround, fadeaway, 3-pointer was incredible. He's been playing well lately, and he was a good spark off the bench. Luke Cornett, perfect 4 of 4, 9 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. He had 3 blocks. I don't think the Celtics win this game without Luke Cornett. His defense down the stretch, he had 2 of his 3 blocks in the fourth quarter. He was big in that stretch in the fourth quarter. He's playing well, and I just think that Cornett made plays all over the floor, like the rebounding, the defense there. Like I said, he's not perfect, but honestly, if you're worried about Luke Cornett, like think about what we're worried about. Luke Cornett is a third string center. No one has a third string center. Who has it? Name me a better third string center than Luke Cornett. Is there one? How many teams even have a third string center? The fact that the Celtics can get Cornett out there and he can make these types of plays when Al Horford is not playing, we have to adjust. If you're worried about Cornett, like you have to adjust your kind of outlook a little bit, because there isn't another team out there that has this level of depth at the 5. Like you just don't see it. Can you upgrade it? Like if that's where the Celtics get an upgrade in the trade deadline, then I mean, sure. I mean, anywhere if there is an upgrade available, go for it. But like the fact that they've got him and the fact that they got Nemaesh Keita, who didn't play particularly well in this game, but he's a potential option. That's a fourth string option. Celtics are fine. Cornett was good in this. O'Shea Brissett, great energy. Turnovers were not ideal, but great energy from O'Shea Brissett. Sam Hauser did not shoot well, but he was a real good positive. He was a +8, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block, 1 turnover. Think about this. Sam Hauser shoots 3 of 12, all from 3, and he's a +8. That's incredible out of Sam Hauser. Like you hit a couple more shots and all of a sudden you're shooting 40%. The margin between poor shooting and good shooting is always just a couple of shots, but he's out there doing these other things. Couple of offensive rebounds. The 6 assists were second on the team. Playing defense, that's great. So role players stepped up. I thought they played pretty well for the most part. Beginning of the second quarter, there was not a great combination, but they did a decent job. Now it's on to Dallas. Dallas on the back-to-back. Dallas had like 4 days off, unscheduled 4 days off, but they had a game postponed that was supposed to be against the Warriors. Their assistant coach passed away, so obviously there's been a postponement for that, but the net effect is they're sitting there kind of well rested, and Boston's coming in after a tough game here, and this is a tough stretch. Maybe them kind of backing off there in the second half is going to preserve their legs to some degree. I don't know. We'll see how they do on the back-to-back. It's a little bit of a later start, but I didn't like the fact that Jaylen said my legs were cooked. If your legs are cooked in this game, what are they going to be in tomorrow's game? So I'm not sure what to expect against the Mavs, and the Mavs have been playing well. Kyrie's been playing well. So who knows? But each day is different. Each game is different. You don't know how they're going to wake up. You don't know how people in Dallas are going to wake up, if they're going to be on it or feeling off. So that's why you play the games. So we'll see. And I will be here after that game as well, because I'm here after every single game, Monday through Friday, and then whenever they play. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. You can subscribe onto the YouTube page, get into the comment section. Let me know what you think about everything that I've said, everything the Celtics have done, all of that stuff. And I would love it if you everydayers, you Monday through Friday, fans of the show, if you could hop in there and share the podcast, spread the word, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here in the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.